Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. Thank you for joining us on episode 340 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, here with Trevor. How's it going, Trevor?
Hey, better this week.
You certainly sound better.
Yeah, I'm getting there. It was, it is cold and flu season, and so I will admit I've not actually been sick like that in like 4 years.
Oh wow!
So it was an adventure for sure.
And we were talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, one thing that I was thinking about with it was that actually one of the last times I was sick like this was in 2022. I got sick down in Florida, and
a place to get sick. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about handling stuff at home versus handling sickness while you're traveling is a very different thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we need to talk about right now, but it would actually be a good thing to maybe kind of talk about like how to handle like getting sick on vacation, because, I feel like it's, everybody has their own things or their own way of handling it. But I think it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a fair amount of experience with this topic. Myself getting sick multiple times. My sister got sick. The time we did our meetup, I came back with COVID. So, although I didn't really get sick with that until after we had already left and everything, and I was on my way home.
You were like leaving, and you said you were starting to not feel well. Whereas, like being like in a foreign place and
not different.
Yeah, like actually this last week I was thinking about it was like, I was fairly well set up at home where it was like I didn't need anything. Like I had everything to kind of, make myself feel better and handle it and everything. But it's like it's very different when you're traveling, right?
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
100%. Yeah. I think about that a lot. It's because it's just anytime you're anywhere where you're not at home, it's like, because you're just used. This is why though, like whenever I like go anywhere, I always have like a pharmacy with me, I always have like everything I could think of that I could possibly need, because I'm always worried. And actually I was telling you before we started recording is everybody in my house is sick except for me at the moment. Usually the order of operations in my house goes my daughter, my wife, then me. I'm usually the last one to get it. So, which is good because it staggers a little bit. And then, my wife will be down for a couple days. And then when she's feeling better, then I'll get sick. And then, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But I mean, the last time we were at Disney for the party, I fully expected in the context of the Christmas party that we were, at least some of us were going to get something. You're talking Thanksgiving. It's like Orlando's a top 5 destination for Thanksgiving travel, believe it or not. And so you have people from all over the place there and, bringing stuff. None of us got sick, which was kind of amazing. But, I'm not going to complain about that. But it is a good topic, Trevor, talking about being sick away from home.
Like I said, I think maybe it's something like, maybe we can do that as like a topical show someday that, just kind of talking through like all the things, like you said, I'm the same way. I pack a pharmacy, but it's like, well, what do you plan for? How do you make sure that you kind of cover as many bases as possible? Cause like, I guess I'm of the opinion, kind of like you, is that when you're traveling, it's like you want to try and account for every possible scenario within reason, but that means different things for different people too, right? So
I will say, if you get sick on Disney property, it's not terrible because there's like so many places you can go in close proximity, and I mean, you can, some of these places even like they'll shuttle you over there, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Are we about to use that?
Yeah. I mean, and my sister used it when she, I don't know, it's probably like 2019 or so when we went with them, and she got strep, and I mean, they picked her up and they dropped her back off again, and she got all the meds she needed. It was like such a easy process, and I think I've talked about this on the show before. The one time I got really sick at the parks was we were walking in Tomorrowland and someone just sneezed directly in my face. Like I got sick like the next day. I mean, what I mean sneeze directly in my face too. It was like literally like I had
like,
the moisture of it on my face.
Like within 2 meters kind of thing.
I had to wipe my face off.
6 feet, I guess.
I'll put it to you that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that can't be good. That's not going to turn out well. And sure enough, it didn't. But and that was like the sickest I've been. I mean, we cut our trip short actually because of that. Because I just couldn't do it. So, and it was just my wife and I at that point. It wasn't when my daughter was around. So, but yeah. Anyway, we're talking about. I mean, it's funny because it's everybody goes through these at different times of the year. Because so many of the listeners were talking about everyone being sick for Christmas.
Yeah, I think up here, I say up here, up in Canada, specifically in Alberta, somebody pointed this out to me. I didn't really think about it, but it makes sense. Our cold and flu season was delayed this year because we actually, there was a teacher strike back in October. And so the kids were actually out of school for like a month. And because of that, normally kids would be passing stuff around in like, October into November. And so you get a lot of, kids getting sick before Christmas. That didn't happen. And so because of that, I think a lot of it's kind of coming back around now because the kids went back, but then it was like they were back in November, but then it was Christmas. And so they had break again. And then like January is where it really kind of started picking up again. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting that like that aspect of it too is like if you're, cold and flu season is also like kind of dependent on how much you're interacting with other people. And if you're like forcibly not interacting with people, it kind of messes up when this stuff hits. So
I always laugh because like my daughter, I'm sorry, not my daughter, my wife works from home, right? She doesn't have coworkers that are here. So I'm just like, whenever she gets sick, I'm like, how did you get sick? You don't even like see people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's the same as my son brings stuff to me.
Yeah, it's usually my daughter. Yeah,
yeah.
It's usually my daughter. But this time it was my wife that started it though. She got sick first. So now, given she had just gone on a trip, so she'd just come back from being on a long weekend trip. So and she had taken a train and which was like a 13-hour train drive, and I was like, oh yeah, you definitely got that on the train. Like 100% got that on the train. Like. So it's probably from that, but generally I'm just like, how do you even get sick? You don't have coworkers. So anyway, but yeah, so that's what we've been dealing with so far this weekend is, my wife's not feeling well, my daughter's not feeling well, and I'm chugging along until, I somehow get sick. So only a matter of time, I guess.
Yeah. And then you'll be in my position that I was in last week, trying to struggle through the show.
I mean, throughout the history of the show, I've done it. I don't think.
Yeah, you've been sick more than I have, just because of where you are in your life. Like when my son was younger, like we had colds and stuff going through the house a lot more. It doesn't happen nearly as much now, but yeah, you're in that space where we were years ago that like stuff is just always being brought into the house, and I mean, sorry, kids are just like that. They don't.
It's germ machines. It is. It's which is it is what it is. You deal with it, right? So, but anyway, I mean, but we've been I came to the realization, Trevor, that I have no vacation scheduled for this year. I have no idea what. No, I got nothing. And which is kind of a bummer. I mean, I really would like to do something. And I'm not saying I'm not going to. We probably are. We just don't know what yet. We've been kind of like going back and forth on trying to figure out what exactly we want to do. And just, it's been kind of, it's weird. I was thinking about how weird this is, that since we've had my daughter, the past, like, I don't know, 2-3 years, we've gone to Disney less than we did before she was born. And I don't know if that's just because we used to just have ultimate freedom to go whenever we wanted to. And now it's like, well, you can either go in the summer and, deal with the, the surface of the sun, or, you can take her out of school. And it's like, we're getting to the point where we don't really want to take her out of school anymore, and I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to figure out, but it's funny to me that we go less now than we used to.
I mean, we ended up in a similar boat. Like, when our son was younger, we weren't traveling to Disney all the time, but there was years where we were actually taking multiple trips to California within the same year. And you're right. When he was younger, it was a lot easier. And then as he got older, trending towards junior high and high school, it hit that point, same as you, where we were like, well, we don't want to disrupt his schooling, but we did. Like there was we did pick and choose, or we tried to minimize the impact by like planning around like teachers convention and stuff, where they would have a couple of days off anyway, and so we would try and plan around that to minimize how much of his time he was missing. But it kind of hits a weird point where you take you take as many vacations as you can with your kids, and then as they get older, you take less and less vacations, and then eventually they become adults. Well, no, when they become adults, or when they're closer to adults, like even the conversations I've had with my son, it's been like, he wants to come on trips with us, but he's also like turning to us and saying like, if I'm working or if I'm busy, like I may not be able to go. And we have to be okay with that, because we've had our fair share of family trips. It's not to say like we've missed out, but there is also that point where you realize that you can't take your kids on trips forever, or not like how you did. Not like how you did. Cause even honestly, like, the last trip that I took with my son, we had, and I think I talked about this at that point, was, we had a conversation like mid trip where like my son was acting differently, but it was typical like teenager, I'm too cool to be here kind of vibes. So, like he wasn't being like a jerk or anything, but it was very much like he wasn't into it, or he wasn't reacting to things the same way that he used to, and kind of like how we wanted, or I say how we wanted to, like we had an unreasonable expectation at the end of the day. And because of that, we ended up having a conversation. We were like, hey, are you like good on this trip? Like, are you happy with what we're doing? And he turned to us and he was like, yeah, I'm having a great time. Just because I'm not like smiling and laughing doesn't mean I'm not having a good time. Like, I'm just taking it in the way that I'm taking it in. And it was like, I kind of realized it was like, oh yeah, he's becoming an adult, and I can't expect him, like it's hard to, because you're not at that point yet. Like teenagers moving to adults is like, that they have that era of like, I have to be mature, and being mature means that, even if, Mickey Mouse is waving at me, I don't wave back, because I'm an adult, when the rest of the adults are like twice as excited as the kids. Right. But it's that transition phase, right? So
it is.
It's a hard thing. Like I get it, is planning trips at the space you're at with your daughter right now. I mean, like I said, we made the choice of pulling him out of school was the option, because like we knew there's no way we could handle the Florida sun in the summer. So we opted for, try and take him out of school, but try and minimize it as much as possible, was how we handled it.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing. Even for us, like, we don't have a Disney trip planned this year either. But like, as we said, because we have we're saving up for a bigger trip next year. but part of that, not planning that trip this year is like, it kind of feels weird. It feels off that it's like, well, usually I would have like something that I'm doing in May or I'm going in November or something. And it's like, nope,
exactly.
not right now.
Not happening. Not happening now. No. And that's kind of where we're at. I mean, I don't know. I want to do a vacation this year. I just kind of need to figure it out. Like it's just been this weird kind of thing where it's just like we want to do it, but we just haven't quite figured out what we want to do yet, So I don't know. It's one of those things. So we're going to have to see what actually comes of it. I mean, I'm sure we're going to end up doing something. I just don't know what or when. So,
I mean, is places like Hilton Head or Vero Beach in the realm of possibilities, or is it?
Yeah, we talked about Vero. Yeah.
Those are closer for you, right? Like they're.
Well, I mean, Vero's not what I would call close, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, Vero is probably a solid. I don't know, probably a 10-hour drive from here.
Yeah. Okay. No, never mind.
I mean, well, listen, that's not out of the realm of possibility for me. I don't care about driving that far, but my wife, on the other hand, is not a huge fan of trips like that.
Yeah, I feel that. I've done those 10-hour trips myself, and I limit myself at 3 to 4 hours.
So it's 9 hours. I just had to look it up because I thought I might be exaggerating.
Nine's totally different. That's
that's doable. That's doable. Yeah. Well, here's the thing though, Trevor. I've talked about this before. I don't like the beach. I don't. Like, I'm not a beach person. I'm not a fan of the beach. I don't like sand. I don't like the fact that every time I go into sand, I'm going to find sand for the next week, no matter. I'm going to find it in my shoes. I'm going to find it in my clothing. I'm going to find it somehow.
It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
I hate sand. I hate it. But I do like the ocean. Like, I enjoy listening to the ocean. I enjoy looking at the ocean. I enjoy the creatures of the ocean. I just don't like the beach. And I am in the minority on this in my family. So my daughter and wife would absolutely love to go to the beach. So I'm willing to do this. Like, I'll go. It's not like I'm not going to go. I just don't like it. So and it's probably why we haven't booked anything yet, is because I just haven't, I'm not saying I'm not making the effort to book it, but I mean, and I've looked, but it's it's hard to get Vero, at certain times of the year. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see. We were going to try to do a Vero, and a cruise, but like a couple days of Vero, couple days of cruise.
That's right. Yeah, you. I remember you were mentioning that you were looking at maybe like.
Yeah.
Was this the year you were planning for an Alaska cruise, or was that next year?
It's funny you say that, because we are going to do that next year. So that.
Okay. All right.
And one of the things we're going to talk about on this show, and the reason why we're going to talk about it, is because
I see it on the rundown.
Yeah, it's the 2027 itineraries have come out, and so that sparked a conversation with my wife's family about, hey, we need to get on figuring out when we're going to go to Alaska. So, we'll talk about that in a few.
Okay, we'll get there. So, why don't since we've talked now for 18 minutes about just not random things, but kind of Disney adjacent things. But we do have a listener question. And
Jason wants to start trouble.
Appreciate you, Jason, for wanting to start trouble in the Discord. And so he says, if you had to replace one classic Disney attraction, think Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Small World, etc., which ride are you replacing? Let's start a fight. And of course, this is
crying
not
emoji.
Yeah. The laughing, crying emoji, which is okay. I guess I'll start this off.
Wait, before we start this off,
all right.
I have a problem with the fundamental part of this question. How do you define a classic attraction? Is it like I know it when I see it kind of like, are you going to call Figment a classic attraction? Are you going to call Living with the Land a classic attraction? You know what I mean?
Living with the Land was a day one attraction.
Yeah.
So
I'm just asking. I'm asking the question. I mean, okay, all right.
I mean, I guess I would qualify it. He says like Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Small World, etc. I mean, I would say anything that has like an established tenure in the park, meaning like if it's been there long enough that you just assume that it's always been there, I think it's been there, like it qualifies for this. Like even though, yes, there are rides that's like, well, that's only been there for like the last 30 years. It's like, it's still been there 30 years. Like it's a classic at this point.
Okay. So like, even though Maelstrom closed to make way for Fruit, would that have been considered a classic attraction prior to closure?
Maelstrom? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just working on what the definition is here. I'm now we're on the same page.
I'm doing it from the place of, you know, in my mind when I look at the parks, or if I look at it, you know, there's the obvious like new shiny rides, like, you know, the Trons and, you know, even like Ratatouille, like that's a fairly new ride. Yeah. Like those to me are newer rides because I'm aware of like in the last like, you know, 10 to 15 years, they've come online, or you know they've made changes to them that, or you know, redone rides that, you know, it's the newer iteration of the ride. But then there's other rides that have been there, like you know, I would say, you know, classic is going as far back as like, you know, even if it was, you know, touched in the 90s or something, like it's still at this point it's a classic. Sorry, I hate to like jostle anybody out of like their age specific stuff, but the 90s was like 25 to 30 years ago now.
I don't want to hear that.
Okay. And I say this because I was upset earlier this week because, sorry, and you all know this about me. I play video games a lot, and there was an announcement of a new Castlevania mainline Castlevania game coming out, and there hasn't been one in like 15 years. And then people who were commenting on were like, oh yeah, it's like Symphony of the Night. And then there was people that were responding back going, what's Symphony of the Night? And I realized that game came out in 1997, which is like 30 years ago. And I'm like, oh no, it's like I play this game all the time, but it's a classic. Oh no. Yeah, I'm old. I'm sorry.
Well, I think I've told you this before. Like every year for my birthday, just as like a thing to keep me feeling like younger, is that I always do what I call Big Kid Birthday, where we do some sort of birthday party that we would have done as children, but I do it as adults. And so this year I wanted to, because we were talking about how in the 90s, like every birthday party you went to was like bowling or roller skating. Like that was the two birthday parties. I'm sure it was the same up by you too, right? It was bowling and roller skating. That was it. Right?
We had Chuck E. Cheese as well.
Yeah, we had Chuck E. Cheese too. Yeah. So like arcade, right? But I feel like every other party you went to was a bowling party or roller skating party.
You're right. It was bowling alleys were easy, and rollers. We had a roller rink up until like 2015 here that finally closed. But yeah.
So we're going to do a roller skating party, and
nice.
There's a roller skating rink down the street. And then someone came up with the bright idea was, how about we dress 90s too? And I'm like, like 80s, 90s. And I'm like, this sounds great. Like I'm excited for this. I'm gonna dress very 80s, you know, gonna get like all the neon stuff.
Get some neon clothes. I feel you on that. Yeah,
a headband.
I'm so one of those Charlotte Hornets jackets.
Oh yeah, that everyone loved in the 90s. Oh yeah. You see them around here still sometimes. So yeah. But anyway,
okay, so sorry, we went down a
wow. Okay, so, I don't even know how we got there, but okay.
We got there, but okay, I think we were establishing what old rides or what is classic, right? Yes. Okay, so back to the question. I'm going to start off. I said this in the Discord, and I'm going to expand on it. I would replace Winnie the Pooh.
Ooh.
And the reason I say this, and yes, y'all can come for me, and that's fine. Winnie the Pooh is the worst possible iteration of that ride as it stands right now.
You're not wrong.
Only because of the fact that it took over Mr. Toad's. So it's an overlay of an existing ride, whereas the one in Disneyland is, you know, it was built as its own thing. Or sorry, not. I mean, they built like the whole track and everything because it was built where Country Bears was, but the one in Disneyland is like actually built for being Winnie the Pooh. And then you have other iterations of the ride, such as Pooh's Honey Hunt over in...
which is vastly superior.
Yes, exactly. So I would say Winnie the Pooh because I was thinking about it and I was like, of all the like I immediately went to like Fantasyland for like dark rides because it's like there's dark rides that could use love, and I almost said Peter Pan, but I stopped myself and I was like, no, Peter Pan is still fine. It still works. It doesn't need to be messed with. Winnie the Pooh though needs some love. I actually I have a picture of one of the in the queue, one of the screens where there's like the honey where you can touch it. It actually crashed and it was at like a Windows screen, and I got a picture of that when we were there last time. But so like there was that, but then also like there's little things throughout the ride that you can see like it hasn't quite been as well maintained as it could have been. And I think it's an opportunity for, maybe a trackless ride or maybe another ride system altogether that, sorry, I think Winnie the Pooh is when I look at all of the dark rides in Fantasyland, it's the one that I care about riding the least. And you can be upset at me for saying that, but I'm just putting that out there to anybody, because hey, we're starting a fight, but you can be upset at me about it and that's fine. I think it needs an overhaul. And I think that would be the ride to be replaced. And I don't even think necessarily as a Winnie the Pooh ride. I think like they could do like a totally different franchise in there at this point and it would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I don't disagree with you. I think that ride certainly needs some love. I mean, it needs love. So I think I have made my opinion on this one fairly clear. I don't remember what episode we were talking about this, but I think Tomorrowland Speedway's got to go. I just do.
Okay.
The thing takes up a ton of space. Prime real estate in the middle of the park and it's loud and it smells bad and if they upgraded it I'd be okay with it, but like the fumes and the loudness of it are just take me out of that area, and it bothers me. But if and also the other part that bothers me too is those cars are just unsteerable. Like you just can't, like, I know
that's
you don't.
That's part of the fun, though.
I know, but I want to if you're gonna put a rail there to make it so that I can't veer off my lane, I want to challenge myself to never hit the rail, but it's impossible because the steering doesn't work. My daughter last time we were there, she figured out pretty quickly that she didn't have to steer at all. She just took her hands off the wheel and let it go. And she's like, I don't have to steer. It'll just let me go. And I'm like, you're missing the point of this attraction. But, she was fine with it. But yeah,
even though you're going to fail, it's still fun to try. That's the thing. My
problem is primarily with how much space it takes up. I mean, that's it. It's a huge amount of space. You could put so much there.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But so let me just put this out there. If they replace Tomorrowland Speedway with something else, it would assume it would most likely it would be something that would be indoors. Would you be okay with that entire area suddenly having a large building there obstructing views?
I'm with you.
You see the problem.
I don't want the building there. I don't want a building there.
Because the thing about Tomorrowland Speedway is that, yes, you're right. The cars themselves need an upgrade. They're too noisy and the smell and everything is terrible. But it keeps sight lines open between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, and Mickey's Circus as well. Which I think if they replace that, it would hurt the overall area.
I don't disagree with that. Right? I think an outdoor attraction would be good to put there.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying. But I would say the only rule around replacing Tomorrowland Speedway is it can't be an indoor experience.
That is an extraordinarily fair point. But listen, that's just our two opinions. I would love to hear what anyone else has to say. So put it in the Discord, put it in the comments. Just tell us what you guys think of what attraction you would just get rid of. Listen, I don't think you can. Jason said Jungle Cruise, Pirates, It's a Small World, those are fairly untouchable things. Like there's
How
never
are you replacing Jungle Cruise?
I mean, you're not. It's just not going to ever happen in history. Like, I mean, probably people would have said that about Tom Sawyer Island, but like, that's not as beloved as Jungle Cruise or Pirates or even It's a Small World. Like, you're never getting rid of those things ever. They're still going to be playing It's a Small World, you know, when forever. I mean, it's just going to be forever. They're never getting rid of it.
It's I don't. Yeah, you're right. The funny thing is sir. Like, you know, he was saying replace one classic ride. The hard part is that it's not just like if it was just the ride in a bubble and saying like, oh, this ride would be way cooler, you know, Jungle Cruise, but now it's a roller coaster and it's going through the jungle and that would be amazing, right? But
make it a flume ride, make it like a Splash Mountain.
yeah. Maybe make it Splash Mountain, but in relation to the rest of the park, though, like you said, that's where it gets really difficult. Is that when you start thinking about like, how does this fit into the land? Like, you can't just snap things together and say it'll work, because, you know, for as funny as it is, that's actually how Disneyland was built. Was, you know, they kind of started with ideas and snapped them together. But the problem is now that it's established, it's very hard to uncouple things from one another without it being like, this is wrong, right?
Yeah, you can't make that change. No. It's a tough one. It is. Yeah. It is. I like a question like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk some DVC. There's a couple things going on right now. So there was just a price increase recently, right, on direct points. But what we've got now is, and you know, they like to do incentives too, but so they're doing $1,000 anniversary incentive, which applies to first time purchases of 200 points or more and owner add-ons of 150 points or more. So it's a flat $1,000 off your purchase. So really,
where's the discount?
What do you mean? Where's the discount? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to be honest. Like, when you're talking 150 or more points, saying $1,000 off is like, that's like saving the GST or the tax on something. Like, I say GST, that's a Canadian thing, but you know, that's like saving the tax on something. Like, big whoop.
Well, and they, you know, they mention here too, it's basically puts it at a maximum value of $5 per point. However, there was just a $3 to $8 per point price increase. So it doesn't really offset it. You're not really coming out ahead here. But you know, obviously it just depends on how much you end up buying, right? So but there's the other thing too. It's not just that there's $1,000 for that, and they have another $1,000 offer that's like it's funny because I'm reading an article on DVC News, and you know, and the writer here is very frustrated with because
yes, DVC, I read that too.
I like this starting line. Disney Vacation Club continues to alternatively excite and frustrate buyers with hidden offers and insider deals, which seemingly require a secret handshake to redeem. What a great sentence. That is excellent work. But so there's also $1,000 savings on a purchase of 100 points or more, on 150 points or more on if you have a Disney Visa card. So that's
that's again that like this person's right. DVC is making it very obtuse to get savings at this point, which is like, if you want to maximize buying direct, it's like, well, you got to get the Visa and you got to, you know, talk to them. And in this article, they made the joke too, you know, if it's Tuesday and you happen to be wearing purple when you purchase, you might be eligible for an extra $500. Like, it's,
he sounds a little bitter. There's a lot of bitterness going on here.
I get that because, like I said, you know, I've seen them in the past do like promos where, you know, they try to get people to buy certain resorts or, you know, get people in the door. But this feels the very like lowest bar possible I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
I'm gonna admit, like, it's
Yeah.
For the amount that they're asking you to buy in on, when you start, when you say like save $1,000, that's like I said, the equivalent is like, you're buying a new car. Yeah. And you always, whenever you go to a dealership, you're like, well, what can you do for me? What promos are there? And, this is the equivalent of them saying like, we'll throw in the floor mats for free. Like it doesn't feel like anything. Like
that's fair. I get that. I mean, the nice thing is you can stack these, right? So you can use both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So then, maybe if this, like, again, to this person's point, if the stars align and you have the Visa and you're looking for direct points at this time, you can save a couple $1,000, which, translates to, you're saving more than the latest price increase. You're getting points at a better rate. But yeah, it still feels like an awful lot of work to get a discount, right? A discount direct, like so specifically, everything we're talking about here is around direct pricing at the moment, which, I mean,
still with the $500 resale administrative fee, it's still a better deal to do resale.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but like there's nothing here. Years ago when I bought direct, it was expensive at the time, for 10 years ago, it was expensive, but I felt like I was getting the value out of it. The problem is now, or like even then versus now, like the disparity between direct and resale points wasn't quite that bad. So it was like, yeah, I want to go direct because, I understandably, the perks they were very clear about don't just buy it for the direct
for the perks.
Perks. Yeah. So, but we wanted to buy our first contract direct and we did. And I don't regret that. If I was in that same position right now, I would probably not be looking at buying direct because again, with the price per point and the minimum and the fact that there's like no discounts on this, but I mean, I guess, Disney then is not making it, or I'm not the target demographic, I guess. I don't know who is, but yeah, like these kinds of offers, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're doing enough here, to be honest. But maybe they don't need to be. Maybe the fact that maybe the fact that they're probably still selling contracts quite regularly. They don't feel that they need to give any substantial offers. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, exactly. It's their choice. I mean, I'm just giving my opinion on it. I'm not, anybody that's looking at buying direct, I am not like dissuading that. I'm just giving my point of view on it. If buying direct makes sense for you right now, like, absolutely. My only criticism of this is the fact that, Disney is really, they're not doing anything to incentivize people to like
direct,
to do direct.
Well, if you don't know any better though, like if you don't know any better, you don't even know that resale exists, and you just say, "Oh, I get $1,000 off. That's great." Like because on its face it looks good. We just don't know that it's whatever because we're kind of jaded. So.
But I mean, but even when I was buying direct, I did like I looked into both at the time. But like I said, the decision point was like, it's a little bit more expensive direct, but at the time it was like, hey, there is a couple of perks we could use now. And understandably, it was like, hey, we'll see what comes of it. But we wanted to have that blue card up front, right? So, so we, and I mean, I guess, would be the same thing right now too, is, maybe somebody looking at it wants to have, I get the feeling of wanting to have, direct purchase and, knowing that it's, officially, you bought something officially from Disney. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But, offering me $1,000 on like a $25,000 plus purchase is, I don't know. I feel like they could do something else. That's what's getting me, as I guess it feels like it's like the most like uninteresting promo that they've done in a while.
That's fair. Yeah, I get it.
Okay,
Well,
sorry. I'll stop complaining about DVC now.
You're good. You're good. Let's do our ad, and we'll talk about some other things. And we probably have too many things going on in this episode now that we've talked forever about other stuff, but it's all good.
Yeah.
The sponsor of this episode is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a Keyholder Vacations company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2025, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their membership. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. So I was kind of talking about this in the beginning of the show, Trevor, but so Disney Cruise Line, we don't have to talk about this for long, but Disney Cruise Line put out their itineraries for next year. And as we've talked about, we are planning to do an Alaska cruise next year, which, goes out of Vancouver. Should be, which I'm excited. Look, I'm excited to do this. I've always wanted to do a cruise in Alaska, and I think it'll be really kind of a good time for my daughter to go. She'll be 9 at that point. When we go next year. So I feel like it's an age where she'll remember some of it at least. You know what I mean? And considering how, much we're going to spend to do this cruise, it's going to be a pretty big vacation. So we're pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie, but we haven't planned it yet. And part of it is, as I talked about before, this is always a challenge with, school and everything, but also we're going with my wife's entire family. So, now we have to plan with a whole bunch of other people to try to figure out, what time, when we can go. And that's always a challenge.
Yeah. And part of the part of the difficulty of cruises too is that, like, I guess the difference is, if you're planning like a vacation to the parks, you can kind of set when you arrive and when you leave. But a cruise is a lot more difficult because the itineraries are explicitly set dates because it's a cruise ship. So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get that. I do see, for anybody that's wondering, they're doing Disney Magic and Disney Wonder are going to be sailing to Alaska. And it looks like they're offering, or both ships will do 7-night sailings, but then the Disney Magic can do 6 and 8-night options. So
yeah, I think we're probably doing a 7-night as far as I know.
Okay.
But I mean, if the 8-night, I guess, fits into what we want to do, I don't know. I'm just along for the ride on this one. I'm not going to lie, Trevor. This is my wife's family setting this up, so I'm just kind of like, you know what, guys, whatever works for everybody else. I'm flexible. As long as we're doing 7 nights, I'm cool. If I'm going to fly all the way up to Vancouver, then I need to be there for at least 7 nights on this cruise. But
you're going to want some time to take it in because, I think you've not really gotten to experience like the Rocky Mountains and all that, which will probably be that'll be a very different experience than what you guys have been doing going to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, it'll certainly be the furthest west I've ever been. Well, because I mean, the furthest I've gone at this point is Vegas. I mean, I haven't gone past Vegas. So yeah, right. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this trip kind of, ends up. Like, I don't know. We're gonna see, but it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure. But listen, we don't have to talk too much more about that because, they got some more European dates. They've got more Caribbean, of course, all that stuff. The Wish is heading over to Europe. So,
yeah, I was going to say, we should probably, call out the other itineraries that are coming. They do also have Southeast Asia on here as well, too. So
that's the new adventure that's only selling out of Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah. With and so that's 3 and 4 night itineraries from January through August. So
they call it itineraries like they're going anywhere outside of they're literally, it's just you go to sea and you come back again.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's probably the best they can do out there right now.
I guess. It's just funny. It's like, I'd be all for that because I don't really care that much about ports, to be totally honest. Just take me out to sea, bring me back again. We're cool.
Yeah, the ship itself is an experience, right? So
the ship is all I care about. So anyway, let's move on to other things, Trevor. So we got some new discounts going on here. So there's a 30% Disney World discount that just came out here for May 1st to July 29th. So we got that going on in the summertime, and as always, it's the more expensive resorts, the bigger discount you get, right? So
yep.
So you get
with the sorry, I'm scrolling down the list here. So yeah, all the ones that are 30% are the deluxe resorts. Yeah. So like pretty much a deluxe resort you can think of. 25% discounts include. So Animal Kingdom Villas Jambo House and the Polynesian
oddly
are the only deluxe resorts that have less of a discount.
Interesting.
So I'm guessing that they know that those resorts are busy enough that they don't really need to
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then also, Caribbean Beach, Coronado, Port Orleans are in there. Surprisingly, All Stars Sports also gets 25% discount. Maybe there's not.
It's random.
I'm guessing a lot of people don't like staying at All Stars Sports. Maybe.
I stayed at All Stars. I feel like we were always at music or movies.
Yeah, we always stayed at movies when we would stay.
We've done movies. Yeah.
And so then similarly, 20% discount is All Stars movies, music, Art of Animation, Family Suites specifically, Pop Century, and Port Orleans French Quarter. But then at the very bottom, saved 15% on Disney Art of Animation Resort, Little Mermaid Standard Rooms.
Little Mermaid Standard Rooms. Yeah.
Which to me very much says they know that these are the extremely popular rooms, so these are going to be the lowest discount.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they probably have fewer. I think they have fewer of them too. We've never stayed at Art of Animation. We kind of want to, though, even though we're DVC members, obviously. Like, I know many people that swear by Art of Animation. And plus, listen,
it's a popular resort. I know that.
It is.
Like, it's, yeah.
And Skyliner, man. Skyliner.
Yeah.
Skyliner access. That's what matters. But yeah, these are good discounts if you're looking to go this summer. Like I said, I'm not necessarily, but I might. I don't know. We might still do a Disney trip this year. I have no idea, honestly, Trevor. I swear, I really don't know what's going to happen. So we might end up going, but these discounts are not really relevant to us because, I guess we're bougie DVC people at this point. And so, but it's certainly relevant to some of our listeners.
I mean, to that point, like if the math worked out, renting your points and staying at one of these places at a discount might be a viable option. But again, the problem with that is it's a whole bunch of extra work versus just using your DVC points, right? Like, yes, you're right. We are, obviously we're both DVC members. So it's like, you look at this and go, oh, you're discounting rooms. How quaint, right? Like,
what's paying cash for what? You could still do that?
Oh my gosh. No,
how is that possible? No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Most people do that. It's
the funny thing is that, so these discounts, usually, this didn't actually register too much with me because I am perpetually getting bombarded by Disney for the Canadian discount because they're always like sending out messages like, Canadian residents can save 25% on rooms, which basically just gives us like, we're saving the exchange rate on the dollar is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So it's funny how like when I read this article, it was like, I was like, oh, I always have like a 25% discount, like big whoop about any of what they're trying to promo here. But it is kind of funny because it does actually show a reflection of like, if you're paying attention, like you said, the rooms that are more heavily discounted are the ones that are, either more expensive resorts or the not as popular places that they're trying to get people to go to.
Yeah.
So if you're planning, that's also something that you can factor into your planning. So it's like, even though how we pointed out, like All Stars Sports has a higher discount than other All Stars resorts. That says something. That says that they want people to stay at All Stars but they don't want people to stay at Art of Animation. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's that part I think is kind of interesting, that, Disney is kind of, they're kind of telling you what's busy and what's not, I guess.
That's I mean, I feel like that's kind of what they always do, with these things. So anyway.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about some merch?
We don't have to.
Okay.
We can. No, we can. So The Mandalorian and Grogu are coming out. I have not kept up with the show. I did like the first season of it. I didn't keep up with it like I wanted to, though. And I mean, I guess I can at any time. And listen, people still really like Grogu and stuff and The Mandalorian. So, although the marketing for this movie has been very weird, and nobody really knows what's going on in it, and
I couldn't tell you either. Like I do like you. I kind of stopped paying attention a while ago, but it's still odd to me that actually the one thing that threw me for a loop, and I had to look this up, was I saw that there's a Zeb figurine, and you're probably going, who's Zeb? Zeb is one of the characters from Star Wars Rebels, but he does show up in The Mandalorian as well. And so I was confused at first when it was like there was like Grogu stuff, and then there was a Zeb figurine or Zeb Funko in this list. And I was like, how does that work? But of course, Disney is doing their typical crossover stuff that they do, or they're trying to, cross over the various Star Wars stories or shows or whatever. But this stuff in particular, like, maybe it's just me, but they're trying to sell all this Grogu stuff. I feel like Grogu is kind of over.
You think so?
Like I guess, like, I remember there was hype around it for like the longest time, and like this feels a little forced to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe it's because I just don't look at like The Mandalorian at all. I don't have any attachment to it. It seems like they're really trying to force the Grogu thing with this merchandise.
I don't know. I mean, I think Grogu is still pretty popular. I don't know.
Okay, maybe it is just me. Yeah,
it might just be you. I think Grogu is still pretty. I mean, I know my sister will pretty much buy anything that has Grogu on it. So she does. I mean, she's really into it. I mean, there's some cool things in here. There's some Funko Pops, right? There's some Legos. There's some those walkers that you can get, the like remote control ones, like, which would be pretty cool to mess around with that, right? I mean, but I've always talked about this, that I'm more of a casual Star Wars fan than one that needs to buy stuff that says Star Wars on them. I do have. Do I have a Star Wars? I thought I had a Star Wars Lego set, but I do not. But I've thought about buying them in the past.
Well, there's a Lego set in this list.
I see. There's a bunch of Lego sets. I don't know. These are too small for me. Just personally, they're too small. I like bigger sets, and these are pretty minimal. So anyway, I like complicated ones too. The only one I would do is the
X-Wing looks pretty sweet.
The X-Wing does look pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Yeah. That would be pretty cool to have. They have a bunch of X-Wings though. Like, that's not like a new thing. They have a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the X-Wing is not just one ship. You know that, right? Like there's entire fleets of them.
I'm aware of this. I'm just saying it's not the first time they've had an X-Wing, Lego set. That's all.
Yeah. So of course there's all kinds of variations of it.
Fine, Trevor. Fine.
Yeah. I will say, actually, one thing that surprised me in this list is that it looks like there's a couple of books that are coming out, which that piques my interest, because there used to be before Disney took over the Star Wars universe, there was the expanded universe where there was all kinds of interesting writing and stuff the problem is it kind of got out of hand, and so it kind of started blurring into like almost fan fiction, which is not great. But the fact that they're actually publishing, there's Star Wars Outlaws, Little Red Moon, and Star Wars Sanctuary, Bad Batch novel coming out. Though I'm not saying I'm going to go out and read those, but I do appreciate having novels or having having means of expanding the universe beyond the shows, because the shows are very prescriptive, I guess is the best way to put them, in that you can't, there's not anything left up to imagination around them. Whereas in books, like you get description, you get like expanded information, but it also does leave room for, I guess, inferring things that are, maybe tie back to those shows, but then also maybe like, hint at other things going on in the universe. I think that's something that the Star Wars universe is missing right now, is that everything feels very like it has to be like written into canon, or it has to be like given a proper story arc, or else they just ignore it altogether. But I think that they need to make some room for this kind of stuff. So yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's I do like when they do that. They've been doing a lot more of that recently, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like they're starting to figure that out, that you can't just like, you can't contain the universe in a tidy little box. It has to have some loose ends, and it has to have like weird little tangents for people to explore if you want it to be interesting. So yeah, like I said, that was the only thing that stood out to me in this list of merch, was I was like, oh, they're actually like publishing, or they're advertising that they're publishing books. I know they have published books in the past, but the fact that they're advertising it here is a bit surprising.
Yeah, I even like the advertising for this movie is very comic book-y. Like the way that they're like, just like the way they're doing like the logo and text and everything. Because I saw like a cutout for it when I went and saw the SpongeBob movie with my daughter at the movie theater, and it looked pretty cool. Like that was cool, but nobody knows what this movie's about or anything like that. So, but anyway, let's keep moving on here. Mm-hmm. I reluctantly put this in at the direction of my wife.
Okay.
So Bath and Body Works has a new Disney princess collection, and it's got a bunch of different like princesses and like different merch associated with them, and candle holders and candles for like Mulan and Aurora and Rapunzel, Snow White. Was that Cinderella? No, it was Snow White. Okay, sorry. So I mean, like, there's all these different ones, and they're pretty cool looking. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
the packaging is pretty spot on.
Yeah, like these candle holders are pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, even the soap bottles are very fancy. Like the foaming hand soap. It's like the detail on them is quite surprising. And then there's what are these like scent infusion things that you plug it, like the Glade plugins kind of things, but they've got little, or they're tuned to the different princesses, right? Like I'm looking at the Mulan one and the Snow White one right now.
Yeah, I think the one that my daughter like got most excited about was the Rapunzel one, which is like Rapunzel's tower, and it holds the candle on top. I think that was the one that she was like, ooh, she's like, I like that one. And then she wanted, of course, all the nightlights, because the nightlight scent things, nightlights / scents, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it's those Glade plugin things.
Yeah, but with like a nightlight though. Did the Glade plugins have a nightlight? I don't think
they do. Yeah, they come with nightlights. These just have extra. I mean, I'm assuming that these are like not plastic. Or maybe they are. I mean, they don't look plasticky, but I think that's the thing about this is like, looking at all like the candles and everything, like none of it looks cheap.
No,
right?
it looks like nice stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely looks like really nice stuff. And trust me, if my wife hasn't ordered some of this already, I would be pretty surprised.
Maybe I need to have a conversation with my wife if she's been talking to your wife, because
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she's not buying it. I don't know.
Well, I'll know when it shows up at the house, because
it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I mean,
because we do have Bath and Body Works up here too, so there's a good chance that if my wife catches wind of this, I'm going to place a bet here without talking to my wife. But of these collections, I think she would be most interested in the Mulan stuff. So
yeah, I see. If I would have read about this prior to Valentine's Day, I probably now given they didn't really give a whole lot of time. I'm not making my way out to an actual physical Bath and Body Works. I would have had to order this online, but this would have been like a really good Valentine's Day gift. Like something from this collection would have been excellent Valentine's Day gift if you celebrate such things.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say, I mean, if you do celebrate Valentine's Day, we've been we've been married for years, and we decided a long time ago that Valentine's Day wasn't something we needed to celebrate. But outside of that, though, like I think these are just nice gifts for your significant other anyway. You don't need Valentine's Day to buy something nice.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, no, I you're totally right about that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting that the Bath and Body Works stuff. I've always ignored Bath and Body Works, obviously, because I don't have any reason to go in there. But the fact that they like this looks like they put a lot of effort into it.
It does.
It doesn't. And not to say that like Bath and Body Works doesn't put effort into their stuff. It's just usually collabs like this don't look quite as fancy as what I'm seeing here. So
yeah, I agree. Let's do you want to move on to this last thing here?
Yeah, I figured you were chomping at the bit to talk about this because this leads into reckless speculation.
But hold on. I mean, I'm not.
It does.
I wasn't gonna play the song. I mean, if you want me to, I can. But
hey, that's up to you. You do you. But we have a patent here to talk about. So, do we want to talk about the patent first, or do you want to just run the song?
Reckless speculation. Here's your answer.
Reckless speculation. It's so reckless. It's so much speculation. We may be wrong, we may be right, but it doesn't matter because it's reckless speculation.
I love that song.
All right.
This isn't really reckless. So we're going to do some of that in here, but this is a patent. So this is a real thing that could be built, right? So like, it's not all that reckless, but it's, we could speculate on what it could be used for. And so they filed a patent application for, it's called what they're calling an articulating boom arm that could move a ride vehicle up and down and side to side on a ride path. So it's like, how do you describe it? It's like a vehicle on the end of an arm, right?
Okay. Imagine if you're sitting in a roller coaster and you had a broom and you stuck the broom out as far as you could and you had a camera sitting on the end of the broom and you were like filming on it, right? So imagine that visual of, you're like using a selfie stick, holding it out as far as you can. But then that gives you the ability to move, like you can move the stick, like, far to your left, far above you, far to the right. That's what this looks like to me. But so then the car itself is on the end of that stick. So you have like the main attraction car or the vehicle that is moving along a track, but then you have this extremely long boom arm, and they show like it looks like a pod racer on the end is what it looks like to me. I don't know, you probably never watched
I know what you're talking about.
Not as pod racer. Actually, it looks more like a sand speeder. Sorry, not a pod racer, a sand speeder. So what they're showing is like, is able to, not just, or it can move like down a little bit, or like it can't go like completely underneath the track, but it can move down, it can move up. They also show the cars themselves rotating on the boom. So this to me gives the impression of a flight simulator. So like a roller coaster type ride, not necessarily as fast as a roller coaster, but moving along a track like how a roller coaster would.
Yeah.
But having the vehicle simulating flight is what I would equate this to.
Well,
So
you could also, though, I mean, you could do a lot with this, though, right? Because this is like the actual piece where the arm is going into, it like goes to like a middle track, it seems like, right? So like you could make, I mean, you could theoretically with the new a Cars ride that's coming to Magic Kingdom, you could make it so that somebody could drive the car, like actually drive the car and use the steering wheel, and it would move to different parts of the track, laterally. Like it could go, like you could have it gives like the ability
so
of the,
it gives the more control over the experience of the ride,
Yes.
not just okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it from that lens that, actually being able to control the movement of it. I was thinking on this more in terms of like how Guardians is structured, where the ride vehicle is able to move around in ways that enhances or changes the normally how you would move along a track, right? Like, because that's what Guardians does, is that the cars turning around changes like how you handle certain turns and stuff, as it, it really emphasizes things. This to me, like I was actually envisioning this. We had talked a long time ago about a possible Mulan ride where it was like you're on the boat, like sailing. I could see an application for this where it's like, you could have the main ride vehicle being like off to the side hidden, but it gives you the impression of like, they can move this boom arm around so that it feels like you're, on a boat, like, crashing over waves and stuff like that. So
yeah. And I mean, this, if you look at this further, it has, it has an example that, could almost be the Cars ride, right? Where it's got kind of like a dune buggy kind of thing where, there's a 2-car wide ride path, and, you'd be able to kind of move in between those and possibly, be controlled by the user. Like, that would be kind of cool if that was some, it also says too, let's see, the ride system may include a ride vehicle configured to move along a ride path adjacent to a track with an arm coupled to the ride vehicle. The ride vehicle may be moved separately from the arm. So, like, the ride vehicle may include features to support the ride vehicle on a ride surface of the ride path. It may articulate between positions to adjust the position of the vehicle. The arm may adjust to the lateral and or vertical position of the ride vehicle along the ride. So, like, it can move it basically, and you could pivot it and all sorts of stuff. So, like, it basically is allowing you to. It's almost like what the Donkey Kong coaster at did, but it's doing it in a. It's having an arm, and it's going to be controlling it in a different way. Whereas the arm on Donkey Kong is just used to, create an illusion. This is an arm that would actually move and do things. Yeah.
The Donkey Kong one is static for sure. Like because all it's doing is displacing where the actual coaster is, so that they can create visual effects of like the mine track disconnecting and all that kind of stuff. Like you said, this to me, reading through it, one of the things that they compared it to was the Stark Flight Lab, which
is being built now.
Which is similar. Like, they have those robotic arms and they're moving around and whatnot, but they are on a track, but it's very slow, limited movement. It's very similar to also like Harry Potter and like those rides in Universal. The
Kuka arms or whatever they're called.
Exactly. Yeah. This is more like instead of having those arms is different. Yeah. Like they're showing like different ride vehicles. And actually one of the other ones they show here too is like a motorbike, which is kind of an interesting idea that, you could control like off-roading on a motorbike and changing, or I guess the idea is that with the way they're proposing this is that it's not just a matter of having the ride go along a particular path and like the arms moving or whatever, but like you said, the potential to control it or the potential to change or add variation to the ride depending on, either just like randomness or people interacting with it in certain ways. So,
could you imagine if they did that with the Cars ride where you could actually drive the vehicle? Like, that just feels crazy. Like, but I mean, drive it, they can still control you. You know what I mean?
Right. But I mean, it would be kind of again, the theme here is, it's reminiscent to other ride types that we've seen, but like in Cars Land right now, the cars race each other, but you don't have any control over it. But it still gives that, it gives that excitement of racing side by side. Like you said, if the new Cars attraction was set up where, everybody was hooked to like a main ride vehicle, but they're individual cars, like you said, you have some ability to control, like, or making it feel like you're racing, or making it feel like you have some agency over how the ride behaves. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's kind of a huge thing in terms of interactivity.
Yeah,
that they can bring to these rides with this patent.
Yeah, and this article mentions that it's similar to like Tomorrowland Speedway or Autopia, where you like are able to control it, but not really. This is almost just like a higher tech, newer version of the rail in the middle of the road kind of thing. It's the rail in the middle of the road, but theoretically, you can make this completely and totally invisible. You could make it so that
there's lots of ways to hide it.
Yeah, like you would have, it would give you the complete illusion that you are actually controlling this when you really are controlling it, but not really. You're controlling it within the confines of how Disney wants you to control it. And they actually have in here that this could be used basically for a whole lot of different things. And one of the examples, they have like some sort of flying thing where it could literally, you could have it go completely upside down to a whole other side of the track, or you could use it with a boat or a motorcycle, like you said. Like, so there's a seemingly endless ways that you can actually use this. But listen, these things, Disney files patents all the time. It doesn't mean they're actually going to use them, but they could, and like I said, if this were to somehow show up on the new Cars ride, that'd be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be pretty cool.
What do you suppose the chances are? Or I know, okay, this is probably way off in left field. But,
well, we played the reckless speculation music, so you can say whatever you want.
But you're talking about Cars Land. But what if they were able to use this to some capacity on the inverted coaster in Monsters Inc.?
Interesting,
because again, the thing about Monsters Inc. is
that. Yeah, how would they do that?
I mean, the funny thing is that they wouldn't have to hide anything necessarily, but because of the fact that Monsters Inc. is the doors moving through the system they have is very mechanical, and so maybe it's they could make it seem like you're being attached to something that is like a wider version of their door transportation system, but then giving the ability that you and other people on the ride are maybe moving around like above and below each other, so that like you're not just static across a single row, but that like people are moving above and below you as well.
So you're saying like this wouldn't be like your traditional suspended roller coaster like we've seen in the images, that this would be like, it would look like you're in the actual door. Like, they would make it so that it would. I see.
It would feel more chaotic. Like it would feel more like I said, the idea of like other people passing above you or below you, that were like if you're looking around, you see other people that started off next to you and they're moving in relation to you ways that they shouldn't be. I think that could be an interesting application for something like this.
I feel like if this is going to get used anytime soon, I'm feeling like it's going to be the Cars attraction, because especially this one example where they show how like it could like lift the vehicle like in the air to kind of simulate terrain, like
or
the
jumps,
whole so like
ramps and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like this whole new Cars ride is supposed to, you're like off-roading, right? And so like, how cool would it be if they could simulate, like, they don't need to make the track, like, they could actually make you do jumps essentially off of it. You know what I mean? Without actually having you do a jump, like having a controlled jump, because like if you're going to do off-road stuff like that, you're going to get air at certain points, right, in real life.
So it's
So
assumed, yeah. If you're off-roading, you're going to hit a jump. And so this is a way that you're right. They could control that feeling without the ride itself being dangerous.
yeah, I listen. This is a crazy thing to think that they would do, but I mean, I just kind of, part of me believes that they're not just going to do the car on a track thing again. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I hope this is somehow utilized in the upcoming car stuff. I mean, but I also wouldn't be mad either if they just made it like an off-road version of Radiator Springs Racers as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Radiator Springs Racers is still a top-notch ride.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, like that's true. But that's where I'm going. I think if they're going to use it, they're going to use it there. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay, I'm still going to hold on to the idea of an extra crazy inverted coaster, but I'm probably way off in left field. But
listen. That's what reckless speculation is all about, right? Is saying things you don't actually believe.
Yeah.
So anyway, anything else about that, or should we wrap her up?
No, I think I'm good to wrap up. I am. Okay. Even as we talked about at the beginning, I'm getting better, but I'm finding I'm hitting my limit. Yeah. So probably a good time for me to wrap up. Yeah. All right. I'm going to try and do my best to get through this without coughing or anything. If you have a
problem, I'll pick it up.
I may have to just pause for a second, just putting that out there. All right. So if you want to reach out to us about anything on the show, if you have questions or you want to share your own trip reports, share your own experiences around anything we talked about on the show, you can find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. You can also contact us through our website, which is welcomehomepodcast.co. So, you can go there and go, hit us up through the contact section as well. We also have links to all of our episodes and the store and everything on the website. So make sure you guys go and check that out, because Tom put a lot of work into it, and you guys should go and check it out when you get a chance. So
I check it out all the time just to admire my own work.
Well, because you're constantly working on it too. I know.
Well, there's that. There's that.
But also similarly, if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. We also have our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where, we do talk about stuff from the show. There's, interesting questions that are posed there. People share their trip reports and, just generally good vibes about Disney stuff. So if that's of interest to you, please come and check us out. If you want to help support the show, so you can go through the website, but also you can go directly to the store, which is store.welcomehomepodcast.co, and you can check out all of our different merch there. We got some cool stuff there now. We are selling hats. We got we got things like water bottles and t-shirts and all kinds of good stuff. So, please have a look at the store. If there's, maybe if you want to get some merch to help support the show. And also, if you just need some merch, maybe for your next trip, if you do buy something, drop us a pic. Let us know that, let us know what you got and what you think about it. Cause the store is fairly new for us as well, but, we're hoping that there's some stuff in there that you guys might enjoy. So check that out. Also, another way you can support us is through Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support. All of our Patreon listeners there is merch that you can get there depending on the level of support that is exclusive to Patreon. It's a logo you can only get through Patreon, nowhere else. Also, our Patreon listeners get access to the Discord server, which, as we talked about, is yet another place that we have conversations about things from the show and just sometimes fun randomness as well. So, please check that out if it's of interest to you. Last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you can leave us a 5-star review, please do so. It just helps more people find the show. And you can also, on iTunes, write us a review and let us know what you think about the show too, because we like to know your thoughts there as well. And I think that covers it all because my voice is slowly dying on me.
And it's gone. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Huge thank you to our sponsor of this episode, DVC Resale Market, and Keyholder Vacations for being our longtime sponsor, our longtime friends. So please check them out for anything DVC related, or really not just DVC. When you want to buy some tickets, you want to plan some vacations, go check them out. They've got just about everything you could possibly need for your Disney needs. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
To a house when we had a church, how she can cuddle these snowman's affair. I look around for all the home, found her in her sugar bowl. Hey, look out, here comes my